Hello everyone, I hope you guys can hear me now. Okay, just a second. There we go. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Yes, today we're going to make Bulgogi beef, one of my favorite dishes. We're going to make it with some rice today. Yeah, I hope my stream is going well today because we had some issues before, but I think they are resolved now. So yeah, I hope you guys can listen and let's get started. So today we're going to make the bulgogi beef, one of my favorites. Let's go over the ingredients for the sauce first, maybe, so you guys can follow along. So here we have it. I'm going to give you the overview so you can see it better. Let's see. There you guys go. Okay. So here we have soy sauce. We have some garlic, 5 cloves, some sesame oil, and we got some ginger over here that we're going to cut up, and some brown sugar. That is for the sauce. So if you guys want, you can prepare that already. What else are we going to use today? We're going to use some nice mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms. Then we have some tomatoes, just normal plain tomatoes. And then for the extras, I don't think we're going to use the rest of the ginger anymore, but we're going to use 2 of the onions. That goes as well. And then the beef. Let me show you guys the beef. So there we go. That's the beef for today. I already have salted it today. So you just have to salt it very lightly with some salt. And this goes in the freezer directly. So we're going to put that in the freezer right now. So again, I'm going to say it. We're going to prepare the sauce. The steak goes in the freezer. And then we're going to cut up the veggies. That's how we're going to do it today. So the steak in the freezer. There we go. The steak is in the freezer. Okay. So for the sauce, I'm going to move this aside for a bit. And then we're going to prepare the sauce. So you guys can see everything. There we go. So what you need is a little pot. So a small pot. And then we're going to add all our ingredients. Maybe first, before I start, let's peel the garlic. I cut them up. I'm a little bit messy today because what happened. Actually, I wanted to start today at 6, but it's already 6:40, so we're quite late. So these, we only need that for now, and the ginger. We're going to cut them up. If you guys need any more tips or tricks, let me know. We're also going to take a bowl. That's our trash bowl. So we're going to trim the ginger first. We're not going to cut it, just trim it. So just cut it in the sides to take it off. You can take a spoon to take off the skin as well, but I'm going to do this. It's a little bit faster. There we go. And then this, we're going to just slice it up into little pieces. Little pieces like this. Not too big, not too small. Little big pieces like that. Okay. Just gonna cut them up like that. So they're not big, they're not small, just a little bit like that. There we go. That's all we need. We don't need a lot for the sauce. Okay? Then the garlic. We're going to split them open. So we're going to twist it. like I showed in the other videos that I have. Gonna split it up and just peel it off. And we will do that with all 5 of them. Let me know in the comments how my setup is, if you like this, if you prefer this way, so you can see everything better. I had some comments from friends. They said that they had some issues with seeing while they were cooking. So I hope this helps a little bit. Almost done. Okay. Yeah, some of the very fresh ones, if your garlic is quite fresh, new, and not that old, it's quite harder to peel sometimes. Okay, there we go, we have our garlic. So what we want to do with our garlic today is just cut off the ends. Don't need the ends, they're just in the way. There we go. I'm going to put this aside, and I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit in that one of the videos. Let's see, I think it's this one. And we're going to zoom it a little bit here, so you guys can see really what I'm doing. Let's just make it bigger. And we're going to zoom in a little bit. There you guys go. So you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we just want to slice them up like that. Turn it around and just keep going. We want big chunks because we don't need them after. Okay. There we go. One ran away, so one more. Turn it around and cut it like that. There we go, that's our garlic. Put that here. And I think that's all that we have to do for the sauce. So let's prepare the sauce. Put this aside for a second. And then we go back to overview, so you guys can see everything. There you guys go. Okay. So we need a little pot The smaller the better. And then we're going to add all our ingredients. How much do you need of everything? So we needed 5 cloves of garlic. 5. We need 1 tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Sesame oil. Going to add it in a pan. Together with our ginger and garlic. Can add everything there. Everything can go in there. Then we need 100 grams of soy sauce, or we can put 5 tablespoons. There you go. And then 5 tablespoons, no, let's say 3 tablespoons of sugar. Okay. And this, we're going to add a half cup or a half glass of water. There we go. That's about 50 milliliters, 100 milliliters of water goes in there. There we go. And then one more thing we're going to add after is some cornstarch. So make sure cornstarch or tapioca, I have tapioca over here, but you can add that, that's the last, we don't put it yet, but we're going to put that after. So we can turn on our heat. Make sure that your meat is in the freezer, don't forget that. So let's turn this on, if it works. Doesn't want to turn on. Strange. Very strange. There we go. There we go. And we can put it on high heat. We want to warm everything up. So in the meantime, while this is warming up, you take a little bowl, choose a very little bowl, just like this, and we're going to add there a little bit of water. Let's say, again, half a glass, 100 milliliters will be enough. And we're going to add our tapioca or cornstarch or flour mixture. One spoon will be enough. So 1 spoon. There you go. That's enough. Just clean it up a little bit, our mess. There we go. Okay, and now we stir this up. Watch this, that it doesn't overboil. And we set this aside for now. We don't need it yet. Okay, we can lower the temperature. And we can leave it for a bit there. Okay. While this is doing its thing, I'm going to take my cutting board again. There we go. Clean it up a little bit. You guys can see. We're going to take another bowl. and we're going to cut the onions already. So what we want to do with the onions, we just want to slice up the end of it. And the tip. And then we're going to cut it right in half, just in the middle. We're going to take one layer of onion off, one layer of onion peel off, and we do that with the other one as well. There you go. And the next one. You just do the same, the front and the back. You take it off, and then we cut it straight in the middle, and take off one side of peel. There we go. Okay. So now that we got this, we can turn off a fire. We can turn off a fire. Okay, put this aside for a second. There we go. That's the sauce. It has been warmed up and mixed. Now we're going to take our mixture with tapioca. We're not going to add everything at once. We're going to add 1 tablespoon at a time. And mix everything up. Okay, so I used half of it for now. I'm going to bring this to a little boil again. Just boil it up until everything is bubbling again. Okay, there we go. That's done. You can turn this off. So that's the sauce. Now we're going to take off the sauce from the heat. Just going to put this aside to cool it down a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to go again to the onions. There we go. So, how are we going to cut our onions? I'm going to again try to zoom in a little bit. This one, there you go. So you guys can see what I'm doing, right? There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hold it like this, like a claw, and we're going to slice down. Like that. Hope you guys can see that. Just slice down. So the size of the onions should be like this. not too big, not too small. They're quite like 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters thick. And we're going to turn this around and just do the same. Now you can go different ways. You can do this motion as well. But just protect your fingers. So we're going to claw it again. And we're going to just go down like that. Okay. Turn this around and do the same again. Okay. There we go. Turn it around. I like turning it around because it feels more sturdier on that side. I'm just going to continue. And the last one. Turn it around and do it again. Okay. So, what we're going to do now, we're going to prep them already. How are we going to prep them? Very easy. Let me remove this for you guys. There you go. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our pan. So we're going to take a pan. And we're going to add our onions into the pan. There we go. Now, what we want to put a little bit of salt on there, just a little bit. There we go. Just like a half teaspoon or a teaspoon. And we're going to put that on the low fire. Like a 4 or a 3 on a scale of 10. What we can do also, if you have some vegetable oil or any cooking oil, you're going to do a little splash, just a little bit. We don't need a lot. And let that keep by its side while we prep the rest of the ingredients. So, let's clean up our station. There we go. And our knife. Okay, and now we're going to cut the mushrooms as well. So what we want to do, we just want to cut them in half first. That's what we're going to do with all the mushrooms. Just cut them in half. There we go. Then what we want to do is take a half. We want to line it like this. And we're going to slice it in little chunks. chunks like this. Not too small, not too big. There you go. You can see it. And we're going to do that with the rest. And just cut along. I'm not going to cut so fast so you can follow along. So you're just going to keep cutting. Just keep in mind, don't touch your fingers and just cut down. Go. One more. There we go. So our mushrooms are done. Perfectly cut. Going to clean up our station and we're going to go to the next ingredients. There we go. Our tomatoes. I don't like cutting these because they're fragile and they go some everywhere, but they're delicious with this combo. Before I'm going to do that though, I'm going to sharpen my knife. I'm going to put it down like this, and I'm just going to slide on a 45 angle down. And I'm going to do that with each side. And turning my knife upside down to get the other side. There's many ways to do it. You can hold the thing as well, but I feel this is the safest for now. Okay. Remember, a stick like that doesn't sharpen the knife, it only straightens the edge. Okay? So if you have a dull knife, it will not help if you use that. Anyways, so what we're going to do, we're going to cut the tomato. What I like to do, I like to cut like this. So you see the round? I'm going to zoom in on that. Read that. And then, there we go. Going to make that bigger as well. Let's see, what can I do? Can I turn it? Yeah, there we go. So you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. So, what you want to cut, let's do the other side. You see the round here? You want to cut just barely touching it. So you're not touching it, but you're cutting there. Just cut there down. You want to take it again, and then like a triangle, you want to go down like that. And then you just cut off the last part. You have only left this part, the stem part. That's what I normally just cut up this, and then the rest you can eat. So that's our 3 pieces. Let's do that with the rest of the tomatoes. Always wash your tomatoes if they're not washed yet. We're going to do the same. Cut them like a triangle. Just like that. and I cut off that part. There you go. Do the rest again. And then you cut off the last part here. There you go. So for the sizes for cutting this, let's put this away. It's not so nice to see it, right? Hope you guys can see everything. There you go. So what we want, I'm sorry, I'm going to adjust this slightly. There we go. Okay. So what you want to do, you want to cut this upright again in two. So you have two pieces now, and you want to cut this straight, another time straight, and another time. If you have a big tomato, you can cut it more, but you can see that there are a few stripes now going that side, that side, that side, that side, and they're each like a centimeter big. And we're going to do the same again, the same distance. There we go. And there we have a rough cube of tomato. And we're going to do that with the rest of the tomato as well. Okay, so again, take this part, put it like this, go down one time, so you have equal parts. Then you go 1, 2, 3, turn it 90 degrees, and cut it down again. Same distance. And there you go. You have a nice cubes. In the meantime, you hear that the onions are sizzling. We're going to flip them a little bit. So we're going to take the underneath onions and put them on top. They will have a color now. If you put it on number 3, on a scale of 10, it will have a little color now. That's what we want. Just stir them up a little bit so that the underneath are on top. Okay. There we go. And we can leave that there. So again, tomatoes. Again, upright. Cut it down, equal parts. And now we're going to cut it 1 centimeter apart. There you go. Turn it 90 degrees and do the same again. There you go. And let's do that with the rest. I'm going to speed up a little bit. There we go. There we go. Almost done with the tomatoes. Just try to make them even sized. So again. Okay, again the onions, don't forget to stir them up. Look at that. Beautiful onions. They're getting nice and caramelized now. That's very good for the bulgogi later. Okay, the last piece. There you go. Okay, that does the trick. Let's put everything in the bowl again. Watch out with the tomatoes, they're quite juicy, so they might leak a little bit everywhere. There you go. Okay, put that aside. That is the tomato. They're all done. Can you see them? Look at that, beautiful tomatoes. Okay, I'm going to clean this up and try not to mess everything up. Okay, clean up everything here. There we go. Now I'm going to switch to my onions here. You guys can see it, I hope. Ooh. There you go. You can zoom out a little bit less now. There we go. And we can mix them up a little bit. Try not to burn them. But you can see that they get nice in color, a nice brown color now. If you can see that. And here as well. Beautiful color. Okay. So what we want to do now, we're going to put them back to the bowl where they came from. I'm going to turn this off for a second. There we go. And then we're going to cook the mushrooms. Again, with the mushrooms, we're going to do the same pan. We don't have to clean it. We're going to add a little bit of vegetable oil, like a little teaspoon. We're going to turn it on medium heat. So medium, like half of your max, so 5 out of 10. And we can put them right in there. Now we can add some salt. We can add some salt. There you go. That's a teaspoon of salt. And we can add some pepper. Doesn't have to be a lot. We're gonna add some pepper. There you go. Okay. So that aside, we're going to put that aside now. Put it here. And we're going to work on a garnish. So I cleaned my cutting board. It's still a little bit wet. There you go. Okay, now we're going to cut our spring onions. I have some here from the garden. Hope you guys can see that. There we go. I do want to focus a little bit more on the spring onions. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit there. There we go. And don't forget your mushrooms. Just make sure that you stir them up a little bit from time to time. Stir them up a little bit. Mushrooms are quite juicy, though, so they have a lot of water. but you still have to stir them up. We don't want to overcook them. We just want to cook them lightly because they're still going to cook after. There we go. Mushrooms. Okay. Back to our spring onions. Okay. So how am I going to cut them? I like to cut them in two, so we have less work to do. And then what you want to do, you want to take your knife and do this motion. This motion, yeah? So what we're going to do, we're going to make a claw with our hands, just like this. And we're not going to touch our knuckles. We're only touching our knuckles, not our fingers. Just like that. And we're going to slide and cut the spring onions. Just like that. You can go finer if you want to, but you don't have to. This is just for garnishing. The last part. There you go. And we're going to transfer that in a little bowl. If I have. I think that's what I want. There you go. I'm going to transfer that in a little bowl. That's for garnishing for later. There we go. So, we got everything. So we got a garnish here. We got a mushroom that I'm going to stir up a little bit again. Look at that color. So they're getting a little bit brown now. But not black, huh? Just a little bit brown. You can still leave them on a little bit. So we got our spring onions here. Spring onions. We got our tomatoes. I'm going to put that aside a little bit so you guys can see everything. There we go. So, we got our spring onions, our tomatoes, our caramelized onions, and now as well, our mushrooms. They're also done. You can close that up. Turn this off. And we got our amazing sauce. That should have been cooled down quite good, and it's quite thick. The consistency is quite thick, as you can see. Now what we're going to do, we're going to cut the meat that we put in the freezer. Okay? So let's take that. Let's take out the meat in the freezer. There we go. Okay. It should be still a little bit soft, but harder than before, for sure. And the reason why we did that, why we made it frozen, so that we can cut it better. Okay? So I'm going to enlarge the cutting part again. There we go. You guys can see very well. A bit more down. There you go. And so what we want to do, we want to cut this at a 45 angle. Okay? So we're going to cut it like this. Against the grain, 45 angle. There we go. And we're just going to do that and keep doing that. You want it to be quite thin, as thin as you can cut. And that's why we froze it, so we have those thin, very thin pieces. There you go. And we're going to keep going until the whole steak is cut up. If you didn't do that, if you didn't freeze it, it's going to be quite hard to cut it very thin. So like that. I know that it's quite cold at the touch, but it's really worth it. to cut it so thin to get a nice, very fast cook on it. There we go. And just cut them sideways at a 45-degree angle. So the best steak for this is ribeye, but you can actually use quite a lot of different kind of meats. But I feel like ribeye and New York strip are the best ones for this, just because they're a little bit more easier to work with. And they're the common used ones as well. But you can do that with quite a lot of different styles of meat. And I like sometimes that they're a little bit bigger, some smaller parts. A nice sort of different structures in your mouth. It's always nice. So just cut them sideways like that. We're almost finished. There we go. I hope you have your rice ready. This goes also very well with noodles. If you want bulgogi noodles, it goes also very, very nice with it. Okay. Normally, I would marinate them overnight. If that's possible, you know how to make the sauce now? Put this meat in the sauce and then cook them the next day or in 2 days. That's the best option, because then all the sauce goes into in the meat. Okay, for the last part, I'm just gonna cut them straight down. Last pieces. There you go. Okay. There you go. That's our beef. Looks beautiful, huh? I love beef. Okay. So let's go back to everything that we need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this into the sauce already. The sauce is still a little bit warm, but not as hot. It's not hot anymore. And I'm just going to take a spatula or a spoon, and I'm just going to mix it in the sauce together. Why I want that, like I said before, to marinate the meat a little bit. There we go. Look at that. It's a little bit sticky. Sugary, sweet meat. Okay. There we go. And that's our bulgogi beef mixture. So I'm going to put this aside, and then we're going to assemble everything. Okay. So what we'll be needing as the garnishes is a spring onion that we just had, and I have some nice cheddar cheese here, and I'm going to grate it over the rice after. Okay. So this goes quite fast, this part. Okay. So what you want to do, you want to turn on your fire on the maximum heat that you have. Really the maximum heat. Okay. I'm going to enlarge the other side as well so you guys can see. Okay. Let's zoom out a little bit. More. There you go. So you guys can see better what's going on. Okay. Okay. So what you want is really that it's almost smoking. I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable oil. There you go. You can clean your pan before. I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to add already my bowl of rice. So I have my rice over here. Okay. So what you want is to take also a nice tongs, some tongs, so you don't burn yourself while taking the working with the meat. Okay. So this has to be very hot, as hot as you can make it. I mean, not as hot. If you can make it very, very hot, then maybe not. At least you need a little bit of smoke. There you go. At this moment of stage, I would recommend you to open the windows. What I'm going to do. Okay. Okay, guys. Going to take a few of those meat that is marinated. I'm going to toss it in there. I'm going to add some onions, some mushrooms. I'm just going to stir them up. I'm going to pour this over my rice. Now what you want to do, you turn off your heat, low as possible. I mean, not turn it off, but put as least as you can. And you're going to add a little bit of water. And we're going to add a little bit of that sauce. Without any meat, just a little bit of sauce. Just a little bit of sauce. There we go. Okay. We're going to take 1 spoon of our tomatoes and pour it over it. Maybe 1.5 spoons. There you go. And we're going to pour the sauce over everything. There. We put this aside. The cooking part is done. So I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to remove this. Look at that, guys. Look at that. If that is not beautiful, I don't know what it is. So we're going to take some cheddar. I'm going to grate it over it. You can just buy grated cheddar. Huh? You don't have to grate it. I couldn't find one in my grocery, but you can just buy it. And for the finishing touch, you're gonna add some chives. And there you go, guys. A beautiful bowl of bulgogi beef. Let's see. I need a thumbnail. Let's see what I can do here. I will close this and I will open that. So guys, here's our amazing Bulgogi beef. Okay. I guess I can, let's see. Hello, I'm so small, wow. I think this one is the best. There we go. But then without me. Okay. I hope I didn't destroy everything here. Is it working still? I hope it's still working, everything. Okay. It's quite messy, wait. Last part, no. Okay, let's just do this, okay? So, I'm going to eat this now. Going to try it out. Okay. Let's see guys. If this is food. Mmm. Mmm. This is amazing. This is so amazing. Mmm. Amazing. Mm-mm. I'm going to eat this by myself now. I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you like this content, and yeah, if you like more content like this, please subscribe and like my videos. Let me know down in the comments on what I can improve on, what I can do better next time, and